Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another Whale FM special edition of Inside B20 for the second episode, actually. We're joined again by TwoBadour. How are you, sir?
Hey, Alegria. Great to be back. I feel 50 years older since I was here last. But yeah, doing well. Time
Awesome.
time passes weirdly in this space.
It really does feel like that after you spend $69 million on something, right?
Oh, that too. Yes.
Very cool, very cool. If you can give us a little bit about the rundown on what this video entails, what the premise.
Sure. The first episode, we sort of saw the aha moment, the light bulb go off in Metagoven's head about what's coming next in the NFT space and how we can be part of that journey. And that's when we discovered people, right? So part two is about the auction story. Now we did spend $2.2 million on the auction, but that is the least interesting part of the story because I don't think the kind of acquisition spree that we went on was ever attempted before, and I don't think it'll happen again. So that was a very exciting weekend for us. Two sleepless nights straight, two 7-hour sessions. Metacoven and I hunkered down on two separate systems, trying to bid and buy each of those iconic single edition pieces that people dropped on Nifty Gateway. It also gives me, now in hindsight, it makes me appreciate crypto auctions even more, even though those 2 days were very harrowing. But after Christie's, I'd take that any day of the week.
I can imagine it was a little bit outside of your comfort zone of how you're used to doing things, these days, right?
Yep, for sure.
I asked you a
No,
bit. I mean, no, go ahead.
no, please go ahead.
I asked you before we started the stream how that process goes. How does one get $69 million?
Yeah, there's this guy with a monocle, right? And he's got a briefcase chained to his wrist. So he walks. No, seriously. Apart from the monocle and the briefcase chaining part, the rest of it is pretty much what you can imagine. The main difference, I suppose, between crypto auctions and IRL ones, even if they are, even if they accept payments in crypto, is that you really do need to engage with people at a certain level. They do check for finances and stuff, and they do set credit limits of how much you can spend, and that for any crypto native person is extremely weird, right? Nobody. The whole point of crypto, like I was tweeting out yesterday, is that nobody can tell you what you can do with your money, how much of it you want to spend or not. And the process of trying to set your own limits was sort of long in a sense, and very thorough from Christie's side, but due credit to them, right? They sort of turned on a dime despite being a 250-year-old institution. And I guess they did that because of the power of NFTs. There's no other way to engage with crypto. You can skip DeFi, you can skip Bitcoin and be completely unmoved by everything else. But when it comes to art and when it comes to NFTs, even massive institutions, supposedly dinosaurs like Christie's, suddenly become sprightly and they pop right into the future.
Very cool. As antiquated as the system might seem, I was surprised that they had integration with Gemini directly, and at least that part was easy, right?
Yes, that part was relatively easy. Yes, you're right. In fact, they first initially had two separate sort of streams of payment. You could pay for the artwork in Ethereum, but then the platform fees, which was like 18% or something, had to be paid in fiat. But and then they reversed that decision and said you can pay the whole thing in ETH, which was pretty cool of them, progressive.
Yeah. I mean, who has fiat anymore, right? That would have been a headache.
Yeah, man, you have
But
no idea.
everyone in the B20 community is obviously was very shocked and amazed and even outside. I mean, more so outside of the space. But what does this mean for B20
We
that
brought
you
it
have
home.
acquired?
It's just that we brought it home, Alegria, and this belongs. This is obviously bigger than Metacoin. This is obviously bigger than TwoBadour or Metaverse. We basically brought home the first digital crypto native work of art, which sort of made history in the mainstream, and it belongs in the metaverse, and that's the only way both of us look at it. Which is why it's we're going to build a monument for that particular piece. It's going to be iconic. It's going to be a landmark in this space, and it belongs to the entire B20 community.
Awesome. Awesome. As a B20 holder and as a B20 community member, when you released that article saying that it was you guys, it was definitely shocking. It's like, oh my God, like, this is huge, 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 huge. And like you said, it is a first. It is a first that this occurs. So, that alone is a huge significance factor. How did it feel going head to head with Justin Sun?
We had no idea, right? And but we sort of turned white when we discovered that it was him that we were bidding against, because nobody had any idea who the other bidders were. And as time went on, when it crossed the 25 million mark, it was clear that it was just between two players, one of whom was us. And the I mean, the really terrible part of that process is that in crypto auctions, the extension time ranges between 5 minutes to 24 hours, right? The Goldie method. On Christie's, the extension time for a new bid was 60 seconds. And the website did really funny things because, according to Christie's, over 20 million people were watching that auction live on the site. So it I mean, it tested nerves. But Metacoven, all due credit to him, he had very steady fingers. He knew what he was doing. We had to go for it, and we just did. That's it.
I could imagine he bought a new mouse for that, just for that day, to make sure it worked.
Yeah.
That's I can't imagine what the war room felt like. They're in the dropping $69 million on that. Was the amount was that amount made? Did you make that decision based on the meme?
Which meme?
Well, the 69 being a significant number in the crypto
Oh.
community.
Oh man, I
I
guess it
know
turned out well,
before
didn't it? Yeah.
I know a lot of people were upset. A lot of people were upset that it wasn't 69 420, but but
Yeah. We tried.
uh,
One try is what you do.
very cool. Well, you did good. You did good.
Yeah. Nice, nice. It's just
If
that the increments also were sort of set in stone. Every higher bid was 250,000 bigger than the previous one. So we sort of set a particular bid limit with like 10 seconds to spare, and it just turned out to be enough to beat the previous bid.
Sweet. Um, okay, so is there anything new with B20 besides this massive addition that you'd like to talk about before we play the video?
Lots of new things coming up. We'll be happy to discuss those things once we have a better idea. But first things first, we are going to build that monument or that space to commemorate this historic piece, and obviously it's open to everybody. B20 community gets tips at the next upcoming Metapalooza when we sort of unveil all of that stuff. Uh, but one of the reasons we're doing this, right, this documentary series, is to remember our origin story, because this is collectively owned again by all of us. And like I said in my initial post, it's very possible that each of you, I mean, the whale community, the B20 community, Whale Shark himself, and Alegria might recognize bits and pieces of yourself in this story. And so this is very precious to us as well, because this is what gives us the strength and sort of the confidence in our own theses and our own ideas about the space. So this is very dear to us, and I'm happy that we're able to gather here every couple of weeks, irrespective of how the world changes or how fast this space moves, to remember these times fondly.
Most definitely, and yeah, it is good to remain grounded, right? You can get lost in it all very easily, especially when you're dealing with these high value assets. And speaking of which, there was recently a portfolio valuation done by non-fungibles. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah, they had fun with that valuation. Zoop likes to, send me little tidbits from the valuation and jokes on DMs and stuff. Yeah, it was a fun valuation.
Very cool. I know that they also provide the valuation for the whale vault, and it's interesting to see what those numbers look like after they've gone through. I'm sorry,
Hmm.
after they've gone through someone else's eyes and stuff. How do you feel? Because I know personally they're very conservative in their
Yeah.
valuations. Do you
Hmm.
feel that that's the case with your portfolio?
Yeah, most definitely, and that's a good thing, right? I mean, when you're not conservative, there is always this little this niggling feeling in the back of your mind that, okay, maybe we haven't factored in volatility too much. And on the one hand, it helps you remain grounded. On the other, you're very confident in the valuation that this is definitely where it's at, and any number that you can think of is going to be higher. On another note, it's funny because we did sort of reach out to non-fungibles after they've worked with the whale community, right? That's when they sort of solidified the process of how to do this sort of thing, evaluate so many assets, so many diverse assets. So it's funny how many things Metaverse shares with the whale community. I mean, we're practically sort of bunkered down in your home, right? In this B20, this Discord community, sort of squatting here. We also picked up non-fungibles from you guys. We shared that. Zoro's done such amazing work. He's been generous to a fault in helping us with the community. I think we might as well call ourselves Whale Purse from now on. I'll just borrow the name. That's all that's left.
I'm sure we could work something out. I'm sure we could work
Yeah.
something out. And it was just yesterday, actually. Whale Shark released the list of investors, and guess who's on it?
How could we
so
not?
we, yeah, exactly. So yeah, Whale Purse is now very accurate. Uh, and we're so happy to be able to host your community, the B20 community, and be involved in all things Metaverse, Metacove, and TwoBadour. And so now, essentially, I can say that I own this $69 million asset, and they own a piece of me. So this is cool.
Yeah,
This is very cool. Very freaking
definitely.
cool. All right. So do you think it's a good time to hit play?
Yep, let's hit it.
Awesome. All right. So, all right. The video is going to start in a second. Episode 2 of Inside B20 coming up.
Beeple is interesting, but then you add on top the story of how we collected it. And that makes a good story. That makes it a good collection. So then that night we decided, okay, like let's go for it.
The biggest challenge here was to put a number to this, right? So how do you value an idea even before it's born? How much would be too much to spend on the Beeple drop? Is it going to be maybe 200,000 would be a good number to cap at, right? So, $10,000 per piece. Okay, maybe 200,000 would be a good number.
So then we sat down, we actually strategized this. So there was 7 hours day one and 7 hours day two of these auctions happening. We didn't want to miss any of the pieces, but I knew that day two is going to be so much harder, because on day one, if we get to buy all of the 10 pieces, a lot of collectors would have spent 7 hours and would not have collected any of the pieces. They'll be so pissed, right? Or at least so motivated to collect them at least one the next day, and that would have been really dangerous. So the next thing I was thinking is, okay, like I cannot do this all myself.
So we created a dozen accounts, different Ethereum wallets to be able to bid from and to be able to purchase those pieces. We named a few of them after the Seven Hills of Rome. We named a few after Charles Babbage and Blaise Pascal. We named a few, of some obscure references from Indian mythology and so on, so on and so forth. So over the 3 weeks or 2 weeks, Metacoven moved around money. He made sure that all the wallets were well funded.
Day one, we just go in and we start purchasing. No one actually got an idea that we were actually purchasing everything, so it went quite well for us. But each of this auction was its unique game. I was looking on Twitter. We were just like looking up whether people already got to know about this, and it luckily not so much of talks about whether one guy was trying to buy it. But on second day, I still remember, by the 19th piece, we were into 19. I was so excited. I was like, okay, we have only 2 left. Yeah, let's do this. And then I list Discord. Someone has connected all the dots, right? Like he's like, okay, only Metaverse has been the other account which has been bidding, which never got an outbid from any of the older accounts. And there was this thing happening, and I remember someone tweeting saying that, oh yeah, I think one guy is trying to buy everything. And I'm like, okay, let's get this done quickly, or else this is going to be really crazy. So on the 20th piece, I really went aggressive. I didn't want to give people too much time to think. So it was not like a slow bid. We just went in there, did the whole auction off, and yeah, we were done with the 20 pieces. We came for the 20, but the 21st piece, which was called the MF collection, the whole collection, which is one NFT with all the combined ones, that's something I really didn't want to buy. But I was like, okay, I'm already here. If I'm going to take it, let me try. My bid was $380,000 on that final piece, which was much above my limit. I didn't want to do more than $350,000 on the last piece. 380 was it, because I felt like the other guy was slowing down. And then a bid comes in for $777,000. I'm like, okay, not doing this anymore. I was happy that we had the 20, and then we came out of the auction. So yeah, that's the story.
Yo, that look at you. Riveting. I was there with you, man. I was there with you. That was so good. I mean, besides the emotion that it obviously you put into this, the editing on this video is A1. A1,
Yeah,
like
man.
amazing.
We have a crack team of these guys. Praveen and Dinesh, who very painstakingly put together all of those animations. So they, I mean, they've worked for the whole 2 weeks, right? That's how they do these things. So this timing is also perfect. I mean, we start to see talking heads maybe from the fourth episode onwards, but the first three are going to be like packed with visuals. But yeah, reliving it like this, yeah, it takes me back there, man. And by the way, that last sequence, the one with the music, the folksy, rustic music that you heard there, that thing was actually an NFT. Nifty Gateway did a drop, and fun fact: Illustrator also bid on that particular NFT. Someone else got it though.
Not to be outdone, right? He
Yeah.
had to come in one more time.
Well, it's his
um,
story. So
Yep, yep. Yo, the music. I mean, I was like rivet, like glued to the screen, and then I was dancing all of a sudden. That was a good touch. That
yeah.
was a good touch. Man, the coordination that it takes to do something like that is a work of art on its own. um, there's something to be said about that kind of dedication. It's not just about the money. It was actual work, so some people might think, oh, it's just he's just clicking a few buttons, or somehow Nifty Gateway must have gave them an easy way to do this. No, not at all, right?
Oh man, each one was a battle, and you're very right, Alegria. I mean, it can't be about the money anymore, right? I mean, the era of flexing with a high bid is sort of over. It's passe now, right? I mean, first it was $2.2 million, then it's 6 million, then it's $7.5 million, then it's 70 million. We don't know what's going to come next, right? So you have to have some sort of a purpose beyond the bid, beyond the money that you put into an NFT.
Yeah. There's that's also part of what should or does give B20 value. It's that there's a lot of heart and soul put into this apart from the art. That I love that you did inside B20 to showcase that bit. So owning some B20 is owning some of Metacoven and yours hard earned, hard fought everything. It's an amazing story. I can't wait for episode 3. If it's half as good as this, I know it's gonna hit. It's gonna hit definitely.
Oh, yeah. I promise you it's going to be, man.
Nice.
The story only gets better.
I can't wait to, like you said, till the talking heads pop up and we get to see, an even closer, in-depth view of what that was like. And honestly, I mean, have you thought of adding some bonus footage for the Christie's auction?
We have all of it screen recorded. Yes. Yeah,
Oh
we do
man,
that. We do that for every auction. And so yeah, we've got footage. We don't know. We don't yet know what that's going to look like, but that's definitely part of the B20 story. Yeah. Ligria.
oh, yep. Sorry.
Yeah. No problem. Yeah.
I'm sure.
I know.
I'm sure everyone is gonna want to see, inside look of what that looks like. I'm sure Justin Sun is gonna tune into that episode
Yeah.
to see how
Yeah.
exactly you did it. I know. He did end up purchasing another piece, but I'm sure he's still a little salty about this one. But
I can imagine.
even
We sort of lost it by mere seconds, Alegria. I mean, we were practically on the same page. It's just that we over prepared for this, and I think it was very, very close.
Cool. All
Awesome.
right. If you have something to add or something that we should be looking forward to, please share that with us, and let us know what we can expect from B20. In the coming weeks.
No, man, I think that was quite a story. As I said, I'm happy to come back here and sort of remember where it all started, and more importantly, sort of share the story with everybody that was part of it. So I'm happy to come back in a couple of weeks again. I just hope the world hasn't changed too much. It doesn't change too much in the next 2 weeks.
I think that's asking for a lot, my friend. That's asking for a lot. Hopefully, it does change, and it's for the better, with even more exciting, crazy things like this happening, just so we can, add it to the episode list.
Yeah.
To everyone watching that's a B20 holder, we invite you to the whale server where the B20 community resides. There you can find direct access to TwoBadour, to a lot of great mods like Zoro, that's leading that charge, and ask some questions, get to know everyone, and that's actually the place to get the most up to date information, or where you can get some explainers. TwoBadour, thank you so much for coming through again, for showing us this amazing episode. Can't wait for episode 3, my friend.
Thank you, Alegria. Happy to be here.
All right, with that, this concludes another episode of Whale FM Special Edition Inside B20. Definitely join us again in another 2 weeks where we drop episode 3. So definitely, come into the Whale server and find out all the details on when that's occurring. All right, with that, we out. Peace, y'all.